Water ministers from Egypt, Sudan and Ethiopia are gathering to discuss how Africa's largest hydro dam will impact access to the River Nile. The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam is 60% complete and has yet to go into operation. The $4.8 billion mega project near the Sudanese border was launched in April 2011. Nearly a quarter of a billion people rely on the Nile's waters. Its basin covers 11 countries, from Tanzania and Sudan up to Egypt. But Egypt and Sudan claim exclusive rights to its use and object to anything that might affect the river. Ethiopia disagrees. Most of Egypt's Nile water originates in Ethiopia, and it wants the $4.8 billion dam to help boost its own economy. Well, joining us now from Portland, Oregon, is Colin Thorne. Colin is a professor and chair of physical geography at the UK-based Nottingham University. Thanks very much for being with us, Colin. Now, I want to ask you, first of all, what do you see as the potential impact of this dam, not only on Ethiopia, but on the downstream countries, Sudan and Egypt?
The building of a great dam is bound to have impacts both locally and throughout the river system. It's all one joined up system. However, the way that it's done, the way that it's built, and the way that it's filled, and the way that it's managed can massively reduce those impacts. And if the addition of another dam to a river is done in a coordinated fashion with the existing dams and water resource developments, then actually the addition of a dam can be beneficial. So it's all in the way that you do it and the way that you operate the dam afterwards.
And is it being done right here? Is it being done in a coordinated fashion?
In the case of the GERD, or the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, as somebody who's not directly involved in the project, it's quite hard to tell, because the reports that were promised about exactly how the dam would be done, the technical detail, simply isn't available. So it depends really on what you can read in the media and the scraps of information that come out. And on that basis, it looks as if it could be being done correctly. But that is a matter really of trust, of whether you believe the international panel of experts who are advising the Ethiopian government, whether you trust the Ethiopian builders of the dam to do what they said they're going to do.
Well, Egypt has, of course, been crying foul about this for some time, saying that this dam would reduce what it sees as its traditional share of the Nile waters. And I appreciate that a lot of this is based on the information that's out there. Are they justified in that concern?
Well, they're justifiably nervous, certainly. I think any country in Egypt's position would have concerns about development of a major water resource upstream. They are the downstream riparian. To some extent, they don't have control over what happens upstream of them. So I think they're justified to be nervous, but they must enter into full dialogue with Sudan, with Ethiopia, indeed with the other countries in the Nile basin, because that's the only way that the Nile can be managed in a coordinated fashion to the benefit of all the nations. And that has to be the goal here. The Nile is a fantastic water resource. It's been exploited for not just centuries, but millennia. That's going to go on into the future at a time of increased water stress because of climate change. And if the nations and their engineers and their technical experts work together, then I think fears, although understandable, will turn out to be unnecessary.
So do you see other areas in the world then where similar dynamics are playing out, and where we could possibly see what are referred to as water wars?
Well, I think that unfortunately is a distinct possibility, but it doesn't have to be that way. So to be honest, rather than stress the negative, I'd rather stress the positive. Great rivers like the Mekong have the Mekong River Commission, and the nations of the Mekong Basin collaborate through the Mekong River Commission, not because they're bound by law, but because they recognize it's a sensible thing to do to support development of countries that badly need that. And that means not necessarily compromise, but finding points where there's mutual agreement, where there's a shared vision of a secure water future for the basin.
Good to speak with you. Colin Thorne joining us there from Portland, Oregon. Thank you.
Thank you.